Hello everyone, welcome to 360 on History, your one-stop resource for blogs, podcasts and videos on science, history and nature. Please check out the website 360onhistory.com, join us on social media and subscribe to 360 on History podcast on YouTube. You can also subscribe to the audio version wherever you get your podcasts. It used to be a planet, and then it wasn't. Pluto's demotion has been a bone of contention amongst many, since it was relegated from the status of planet to dwarf planet. This fight has overshadowed a milestone in human space travel. We have actually sent a spacecraft that has flown by Pluto, has made scientific observations, and sent back images that have changed our understanding of this solar system object. More about that later. Let's start from the beginning. In the 1840s, astronomers noticed that the orbit of Uranus has been disturbed by something other than Neptune, and the hunt for a ninth planet was started. The job of locating this planet X was given to a 23-year-old astronomer, Clyde Tombaugh, at the Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona. He had to systematically image the night sky in pairs of photographs and then examine them to see if any objects had moved. After nearly a year of this, Tombaugh noticed an object that seemed to have moved on photographs taken on January 23rd and 29th, 1930. He had discovered Pluto, a discovery subsequently confirmed with further photographic evidence. So, how did it come to be called Pluto? Amidst a lot of discussion around its name, an 11-year-old girl from Oxford, England, called Venetia Burney suggested the name. Pluto is the Roman god of the underworld, and she was interested in classical mythology. Venetia's grandfather was a former librarian at the Bodleian Library in Oxford, and he forwarded the name to an astronomy professor there, who then sent it to colleagues in the US. Lowell Observatory members voted unanimously to select the name Pluto. From then on, until 2006, we had 9 planets in the solar system, with Pluto being the farthest from the Sun. Right, so what is it like? It is smaller than our moon at 2,380 kilometers wide and orbits the Sun from a distance of 5.8 billion kilometers in a region known as the Kuiper Belt. A year on Pluto is 248 Earth years, and a day there lasts 153 Earth hours, or about 6 Earth days. Because it is so far away, Pluto has yet to complete a full orbit around the Sun since its discovery. Unlike other planets from Jupiter and beyond, it does not have a ring system, but it does have 5 moons called Styx, discovered in 2012, Nix and Hydra, both discovered in 2005, Kerberos, discovered in 2011, and Charon, discovered in 1978, all named after mythological figures associated with the underworld. Fun fact, according to mythology, Kerberos is a 3-headed dog of the underworld, and it is depicted as Fluffy in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Pluto's largest moon, Charon, is so big that Pluto and Charon orbit each other like a double planet. Pluto is a cold, cold world with surface temperatures from minus 228 to minus 238 degrees Celsius, far too cold to sustain life as we know it. Pluto and its system live in the Kuiper Belt, a disk in the outer solar system beyond Neptune. This disk is composed primarily of icy objects. Pluto is also known as a trans-Neptunian object, which are minor planets or dwarf planets that orbit the Sun at a greater average distance than Neptune does. Pluto is the largest known Kuiper Belt object. Like other members of the Kuiper Belt, Pluto is thought to be a residual planetesimal, a component of the original gas and dust disk around the Sun that failed to become a full-fledged planet. Astronomers also think that Pluto's current position is due to a sudden migration by Neptune early in the solar system's formation. So, here's Pluto pretending to be a planet, orbiting along, and along comes the International Astronomical Union, which says that Pluto has not met one of its three criteria to be classified as a planet. This happened in 2006. According to them, a planet is a body in the solar system that orbits the Sun, has sufficient mass to give it a rounded shape, and has cleared its neighborhood of other objects. Pluto has done two of these. It has not cleared its orbital path of other objects. So, in 2006, it was demoted to a dwarf planet. Now, to most people, Pluto might be famous because of this demotion, but its real claim to fame is that we have sent one spacecraft that far away, and this spacecraft has flown by Pluto, making scientific observations and taking images. NASA launched its New Horizons spacecraft on January 19, 2006 from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station on an Atlas V rocket. At that time, it was the fastest human-made object ever launched from Earth. After a brief encounter with an asteroid, New Horizons reached Jupiter a year later, which provided a gravity assist to increase its speed. Its instruments were also tested, returning data about Jupiter's atmosphere, moons, and magnetosphere. After that, it spent the next 7 years in hibernation mode and was brought back online on December 6, 2014. I remember watching this on NASA TV and it was terribly exciting. And on January 15, 2015, the spacecraft began its approach to Pluto. On July 14, 2015, it became the first spacecraft to explore the dwarf planet when it flew 12,500 kilometers above Pluto's surface. It sent back the last of its recorded data from Pluto on October 25, 2016, before moving on to other Kuiper Belt objects. Before New Horizons, the earliest maps of Pluto made in the late 1980s were created from close observations of eclipses by its moon Charon, allowing scientists to record the changes in the total average brightness of the Pluto-Charon system during these eclipses. New Horizons made Pluto so much clearer. And what did it tell us? It imaged all of Pluto's northern hemisphere and its equatorial regions down to about 30 degrees south. It also made detailed measurements and observations of Pluto and its moons. The dwarf planet's surface is composed of 98% nitrogen ice, methane, and carbon monoxide, and is quite varied, with large differences in both brightness and color. The color varies from charcoal black to dark orange and white. Pluto's notable geographical features include Tombaugh Regio, or the heart, which is a large bright area on the side opposite the moon Charon, the Cthulhu Macula, or the whale, a large dark area on the trailing hemisphere, and the brass knuckles, a series of equatorial dark areas on the leading hemisphere. Sputnik Planitia, the western lobe of the heart, is a 1,000 kilometer wide basin of frozen nitrogen and carbon monoxide ices divided into cells, and there are obvious signs of glacial flows both into and out of this basin. Pluto has no craters that were visible to New Horizons, indicating that its surface is less than 10 million years old, and it has no magnetic field. It has a distinctive hazy blue atmosphere composed of nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide. Methane is a powerful greenhouse gas, and its presence creates a temperature inversion, which means that the average temperature of its atmosphere is tens of degrees warmer than its surface. Though New Horizon told us that Pluto's upper atmosphere is far colder than expected, at 70 Kelvin as opposed to about 100 Kelvin. Scientists think that Pluto has a rocky core surrounded by a mantle of water ice, so it might have a subsurface ocean at the boundary between the core and the mantle. Scientists also think that Sputnik Planitia was formed due to another object hitting the surface of Pluto, and in September 2016 they simulated this impact, showing that the formation of Sputnik Planitia might have been the result of liquid water upwelling from below after the collision. This implies the existence of a subsurface ocean at least 100 kilometers deep. Also in September 2016, astronomers announced that the reddish-brown cap of the north pole of the moon Charon is composed of organic macromolecules that might be the ingredient for life, produced from methane, nitrogen, and other gases released from Pluto's atmosphere and transferred 19,000 kilometers to the orbiting moon. What a cool dwarf planet is Pluto. I have my fingers crossed that we can send an orbiter or maybe even a lander and find out more about this icy object far out in the solar system. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.